is hard, so I don't see why people are really stressing over this. But that's just me. And other people were getting pretty stressed out about it. And in the classroom, there was a hell of a lot of reason to be stressed out about it. Because the professor started yelling at pretty much everyone. And the kid who was sitting beside me, during the test, his cell phone starts ringing, and the professor tells him, wow, Gray, you're douchebags. You're cool. They... So the professor told him, turn off your phone, or I'm gonna take it away. So, kid turns off his phone, or at least I was sitting beside him. From what I could see, it looked like he turned off his phone, and goes back to writing the test. A few minutes later, same kid's phone rings again, and it was just the loudest, most obnoxious ring that you could ever really have. And it wasn't like how a normal person has their cell phone, where it's a song or it's something else like that. It was just like old school rotary phone ringing, loud as hell. So the professor immediately goes over, grabs the phone out of the kid's hand, takes his test, rips it up, tells him to get out of the room, and that he's getting 0 on it. And at this point, I was like, doesn't matter if he gets 0 on it. This isn't for marks or shit. But as the kid's leaving the room, the professor walks over and throws his cell phone right in the garbage. And everyone in the room's sort of sitting there freaking out, going, "Oh shit! Like this kid really fucked up." So from there, a few other people just sort of like rage quit the test, and professor yelled at them, all that jazz. And about half an hour later, the phone that he threw into the garbage starts ringing again. So he goes over into the garbage, reaches in, grabs out the phone, and throws it across the lecture hall against the other wall, and it shatters into like 5 pieces. And the whole room just goes dead quiet for like the next 5 minutes, at which point all the upper year engineers burst through the door wearing red jumpsuits and tell you the whole thing's just a prank, which I was a bit suspicious from the beginning, but the letter made me think, oh, well, maybe it's legit. But of course it wasn't. And so at that point they started teaching us like all the different little chants and songs that the engineering department has. And while they're doing this, I'm looking around the room, and there's these 3 Asian kids sitting there, and they're still writing the test. Like, everyone else is ripping up their pages, they're chanting and singing along. These 3 kids, they're sitting there, they're still writing the test, and then the guys in the red jumpsuits, they're walking over and they're trying to grab the tests from these kids so that they can rip them up and like get the fact that it's a prank. But these kids are actually fighting them like to hold on to their tests. And as soon as the red suits actually grab the test from them and rip them up, one of the kids looked like he was about to cry. It was absolutely hilarious. And so from there we went outside, we did some more chants, we walked around campus yelling chants at pretty much everyone. And all the administration people who were walking around, they were just glaring at us, just with looks of sheer contempt. But we just kept singing and chanting along. And eventually we get back to in front of the engineering building, which has a nuclear reactor inside of it. So we're in front of it. We're getting ready to play some games and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, one of the red suits runs up and they start trying to get everyone's attention. And they say, "Everyone, we have to leave. We have to evacuate. There's been a leak in the reactor, and we need to go." And everyone, of course, just turns around, looks at him, and goes, "Yeah, nice try, buddy. You got us. You got us with the test, but you're not getting us with this. So we're just gonna stay here." And he's like, "No, this is serious. You have to actually leave." So everyone sort of just starts trotting off real slow, just walking. And we get like 50 yards away, and then he's yelling, "No, you have to go even further away to the next building." So we get to the next building, and we're standing there milling about, and he comes back and he's like, "No, we have to go even further than that. We have to actually leave campus." So everyone's just walking along, dragging ass, and as soon as we get to the main gates of the university, there's cop cars pulling up, and the cops are getting out and starting to put on gas masks and like hazmat suit type shit. And at that point, everyone almost started sprinting. And we found out about a week later that it was actually an arsenide leak in the reactor. So if we had stayed in the area, there was a chance that we could have breathed it in too much, which would cause you to die because it's arsenic. And that would really suck. But that was on faculty day, and faculty day was like 2 days before the start of actual classes. So like faculty day, running around, playing games, all that, and yelling at the top of your lungs. The first day of classes, I actually could not speak a word because I had completely lost my voice, and I didn't get it back for a full week. And I was so completely exhausted from all the Frosh Week stuff that on, I believe it was the second day of classes, in between lectures, I decided like, oh well, it's a fairly nice day. It was sunny. Not really a fan of the sun, being a ginger and all. But it was sunny. Like it was a bit of a cooler day. So I thought, all right, it's a nice day. I'm gonna head outside, walk around for a bit between classes, and of course I was extremely tired, and I had like 2.5 hours in between classes. And I remember walking outside of the building that my last lecture was in, and getting about like 5 feet out, and then the next thing that I remember after that was waking up outside of the building where my next lecture was going to be about 5 minutes before the lecture started, laying down on top of a rock, like a big ass rock, like a boulder. And like people were just walking by, didn't even faze them. So I figured, alright, guess this is university. And the residence that I was staying in was actually the same residence that the writer of the movie Animal House stayed in. So it's known as the house, or the residence that inspired Animal House, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, it wasn't really that rowdy, to be honest with you. It was pretty boring a lot of the times. Maybe it was just the group of people that were in there, but it just was nothing like the movie at all. And the only thing close to the movie was that ever really happened was about middle of March. Since the only guy's bathroom on the floor was in a different wing of the building, I had to walk through the common room to get to be able to go to the bathroom. So it's like 1 in the morning, and I had just eaten, or not just eaten, but earlier that night I had eaten not sure, but most likely pizza and candy. Typical staples of university life, but